Welcome back from the break, Ram fans. I'm Ruby Kayser. Now, before I dive into more CSU sports, ever wonder what exactly goes into creating the brand image that Colorado State has? Who exactly makes the green, gold, white, and occasional orange so vibrant? Well, we set to find the answer. Greg James joins us in the studio to report back about what he found in regard to CSU's marketing team. Take it away, Greg.
Thanks, Ruby. Recently, I sat down with Patrick Touziant, CSU's Assistant Director of Marketing, to discover more about this vital team behind the horns. The sights and sounds of homecoming, whether it's the fans, the food, or the football, none of it would be possible without successful marketing. One of the people responsible for this at CSU is Patrick Touziant.
What I do for them is, I help them pretty much like in my title, market them to, it could be students, to the community, to businesses, to, anybody on any platform, which is social, it could be word of mouth, stuff like that.
A lot of time is committed by student athletes to their respective sports, and to see it pay off is rewarding.
Another thing that is exciting for me is watching, the excitement from the student athletes. Whether it's a touchdown, whether it's a home run, whether it's a basket or, kill, whatever, just watching their excitement, their joy work for probably 1 point or one moment, and to see that rejoice is very good, happy for me.
CSU student athletes also serve as role models for the next generation.
You have kids who look up to these student athletes who, want to be like them, and if they're sitting here listening to them and they're like, something that connects them with them, something that's like, oh, I do that too. That student athlete or that kid now looks at that student athlete as not only someone who they find they idolize, but someone they can be like, oh, they're just like me, and have someone they connect with.
But summed up, marketing has one goal in mind:
fill Moby Arena, fill Canvas Stadium. There we go.
It was really cool to see just how much thought and care goes into advertising CSU events here on campus, not to mention the athlete spotlights and effort to continually engage with the community. Ruby, back to you.
And in other CSU sports, cross country was in action this past Friday, having 9 runners pace it out at the Colorado Springs Open. The event primarily served as preparation for the Mountain West Championship this upcoming Friday, with 6 Rams partaking in their first meet of the season. And the results were pretty good on both sides. We'll start with the women. Redshirt senior Carly Wall led the way in the 6K at just over 23 minutes at a 7th place finish. The rest of the group followed in that 23 to 25 range, with sophomore Isabella Presceno rounding it out at the bottom. She and Wall were the pair that already had a race under their belt. Meanwhile, in the men's 8K, freshman Ben Curbo paced the squad in the 8K at 26 minutes and 41 seconds, posting 20th overall. He was pursued by redshirt senior Ryan Birkmeyer and fellow first-year Gavin Meir, who recorded times of 27.5 minutes and just under 28. Of 3, Birkmeyer was the lone season vet. Connor Dolan, a member of CSU's track team, also ran but unattached, clocking at 26:25:25, a mark good enough for 12th. Like I said at the top, the Rams used this outing more as a warm-up to the Mountain West Championship, which takes place up north in Laramie on Friday. The men and women units for Colorado State are both solid, currently ranked 28th and 23rd nationally. So with the Mountain Regionals and the NCAA tournament not too far ahead, the Rams could impress very soon. And do you know what else is impressing? Colorado State women's golf finished 1 round of holes in the Rainbow Wahine Invite yesterday, currently sitting in first. Well, actually, both Gonzaga and the Rams posted 6 under, but the fact remains the same. CSU leads the tournament at 282, 10 strokes ahead of the host Hawaii. Some of the Rams' top performers include Sophia Torres and Andrea Bergstoder, each sitting at 3 under. Bergstoder had a team-high 6 birdies, while Torres had 5. Meanwhile, the scorecards for Pamika and Panchalika were good enough for 6th and tied for 15th, respectively. Round 2 concludes today and the event wraps up tomorrow. Hopefully the Rams can sustain their early success and leave the Aloha State with a definite first-place finish. And now to the TV for another feature story. You thought Ella had the night off, didn't you? Well, you're wrong, because she's right over there with a special on who exactly?
Well, Ruby, I got to spend the last week with the Colorado State logging team, and I absolutely loved hearing about their personal experiences with this group, especially in such a gorgeous part of Fort Collins. Now, whatever assumption you're making about what this team is, scratch that and let me just show you. The Colorado State logging team is back in full swing, but some students here at CSU are not exactly sure what that sport entails, who is involved, or how the team competing in 23 different events while traveling across the country to do so came to be.
Logging sports has technically been around since the early 60s, but didn't really come into fruition as a formal team until the mid-80s here at CSU. We've been here at this site since 2007, and I've been competing and making good athletes and good community members ever since.
Last weekend was the first Fort Collins competition known as Chaptoberfest, hosting schools from all around the west side of the country. With recruitment year-round, they are always looking for new members to join, open to everyone who is interested.
We always need more women on the team. A lot of our events specifically for bigger competitions, we'll do Jack and Jill events, and they're most of the time worth double points. And if we don't have enough girls, then we can't do those events. So,
traveling for this team has become a more recent thing, as right after it began, COVID hit and nobody was leaving their state to compete. But this year, the logging team is able to take advantage of their invitations and go represent the green and gold across states like Idaho and Montana.
We got invited to a showcase in Salt Lake for November 5th, and then November 12th, we're going up to Moscow, Idaho for a big competition up there.
So we are historically a forestry-based club, and really what this is taking a traditional sport that's a derivative of, logging activities and forestry practices into kind of a show-style event and making it competitive.
I feel like there's a misconception that you have to, one, be in forestry and two, have experience. Not at all. Not at all. Seriously, no, really. We teach you everything you need to know. You don't need to provide anything yourself. It really is just come out, have a good time. You show up, do the work. You fit in better than people that don't. So.
You can find more on this team, raffles, and competition details on their Instagram at CSU Logging Sports. And maybe some of us here at CTV even need to join this team. Back to you, Ruby.
And with that, Rams, we'll take another break, but stick around because you don't want to miss the best part. Hot or Not returns with another Pick'em, and it only happens right here at CTV Channel 11. Yeah, it's the